Okay, so here we have a second ionic bonding question, and this one's relating to ionic bonding that will occur between a magnesium atom and an oxygen atom. And the two questions are essentially asking the same thing, just in different ways, and different ways of either explaining in a diagram form or in written form. So if we go through them both, and we can see the differences and similarities between the two. So the first question is asking us to draw the diagram version, and it's asking us to draw the electronic structure and also the charges of the ions that form when magnesium reacts with oxygen. So what we can see in the diagram in figure 1 is that magnesium has got 2 outer electrons there, and oxygen has essentially, has 6 electrons in its outer shell. So it has space for another electron there, and it has space for another electron there. And it's these 2 electrons that are going to fill up those 2 gaps in the oxygen atom. So it's just the way in which we now illustrate that in diagram form, first of all, in that we have the outer shell of magnesium, which will be circular, and it won't have any electrons in it. So if we imagine that this is now just the outer shell of the magnesium ion, it's an empty outer shell. It'd have a 2 and then 8 for the inner shell, but we only need to draw the outer shell, in which case that shell is empty, and the charge on the resultant ion will be a 2 plus charge. And then likewise we have to draw the oxygen version. So again, only drawing the outer shell, but if we draw the 6 electrons that it had originally, try and draw them in the same place so we can see where we're going, and the 2 electrons that came from magnesium have now been added into there, and then this has picked up 2 electrons and has therefore gained a 2 minus charge. And so that's diagrammatically illustrated what can happen with that, but then it's actually asking us to explain it again essentially in words in the same process in which we have just done. So what has happened is the magnesium has transferred 2 electrons. That's the first instance. It's transferred the 2 electrons, and they have gone to an oxygen atom. So we can get a bit of practice in some of the terminology. That's gone to an oxygen atom. This has formed a magnesium 2 plus ion. So it's gone from a magnesium atom to a magnesium 2 plus ion, and a O2 minus ion as well. Okay, so we've got the oxide ion as well. And there is one slight extra bit on there. There is asking us about how the ionic bond forms, and then this is then the formation of the ionic bond, and this is the electrostatic attraction. So we've got the attraction between positive and negative ions, and it's got a terminology that comes with it, is the electrostatic attraction between oppositely charged ions. That's the key thing. They've got to be oppositely charged. Okay, and that's what brings an ionic bond together between 2 oppositely charged, positive and a negative ion.